Joining us on Target Score Vancouver podcast. What a great guest! Probably the guest of the series so far, Mitch Creek. He doesn't need much of an introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyways. Just a basketball vet, Australian's very own. He's played everywhere around the world: NBA, EuroLeague, nationals, you name it. And back in Vancouver, Mitch, I'm going to start. Of course, we talked about it briefly. Last week after shoot around, but you're back in the CEBL. And not a lot of people thought this day would come, but you are back. And we all understand that in the heat of a moment in a very important playoff game, things get said and feelings are feelings. And, despite how you may or may not have felt during that moment, you're back. Why are you back? And talk us through the decision.
Yeah, firstly, Chris and Andrew, just thanks for having me. I always have said, I've been very vocal about how professional, how high end of an organization and club the Bandits are. And it was just a simple decision for me because the first time I came, it was a 6 weeks period. Then last year it was like, hey, I've got time. We won the championship in Turkey, so we finished early. I can come for a whole season. And then obviously the final happened and, we lose to a great Calgary team. All props to them. I never have any bad blood after the show is over. It's always just the competitiveness in me. And if I played for any other team in any other league in any other country, it doesn't matter. I'm still going to give that same tenacity and that same effort because I know for myself, more importantly, but for my teammates, the staff, the fans, the volunteers, like they deserve that kind of commitment from their players. Now, I was frustrated. I felt like it was very unfair how it ended, and it was very much against the spirit of the game and how it should be played. And there was a lot of finger pointing. I said a lot of things, but I don't regret saying any of them because I said what I believe to be true. I felt like we were very close to winning that game and we had a lot of chances, 6 to be exact. And obviously they win the game and that's it. You shake their hands. I didn't walk off. I shook everyone's hand on that roster, every coach, every staff member. And it sucked, but I said, you know what? I'm going to voice my opinion and everyone's entitled to one. Everyone's an asshole as well. They've all got one. And sometimes what I say comes across as me being a bit of a dickhead, but realistically, I backed my team in and I was devastated to lose that game because I felt like we were in control. But life goes on, you move on and you take it, in your stride moving forward. And I knew finishing Europe, I had a transition period before national team. I decided to come through Vancouver because one, I can stay sharp. I'm getting coached well. I've got, mental performance. I've got the best trainers, best coaching staff, the best support staff. I have a place to stay. I have my partner, like everything is here. It's just a simple decision to come back. Now, I didn't know if I was going to play any games. I wasn't going to do any road trips for sure. Because this is my only kind of small window off. And Kyle and Dylan were like, hey, we have 2 home games. Would you like to play them? I was like, oh, maybe I'll come and watch. And they're like, really? You're going to come and watch a basketball game? And I was like, okay, let me have a conversation with my better half and figure out if I can do this and make it work. To which, very supportive. She said, yes, it was great. And played the game. But it's like what I said to you, Chris. Every time you go out with your friends for 1 beer, it turns into 10. Then your partner's angry at you the next day because you had a few too many, and then you went and played golf the next day, and all of a sudden no beers turn into 22 beers and everyone's in the doghouse. So yes, I was in the doghouse to a lot of fans. I appreciate everyone for giving me shit for coming back, but guess what? I have an option to come here, which was great. They were very supportive, and that first game I got to play was very special. So it was nice to come back.
Look, I said it on the broadcast too. It's good for Vancouver. All the fans are very happy. And quite frankly, in my opinion, it's very good for the league to have, someone, as your stature back in the league too. One of the most dominant players in league history, in my opinion. Where are your thoughts on where the league is this year? Where are your thoughts on where the league is right now?
Well, I think you just got to look at the teams. Every team has made changes. Every roster is different to last year. People have traded players to different teams or made changes. But then you just have more talent coming into the league. It's obviously growing. Budgets are growing. Players, talent levels are growing. You've got guys who are in all forms of from Euro Cup, Euro League, Yeah, so obviously there's a lot of changes, but I think what the league is doing is making it exciting for the fans. I think the target time, I think the way it's scheduled, I think the shorter season is very rewarding for a lot of players. But at the same time, it's just a league that's nice and fun. It's in a beautiful time of the year here. It comes through the summer season. It's enticing to come and play. Now, it may not be the highest respected league right now in the world because you do have other leagues playing around with bigger budgets or in other countries, but players enjoy this league, and that's the biggest thing that draws guys in. So you can't blame players for coming back. I think the league's doing great things. I think it's always going to progress. You just continue to have curiosity and innovation and allow players to do the rest. And you've got extremely talented players that could play in any league anywhere, I believe, in this league. So I think this league's very lucky to have a lot of the guys that they do have, and a lot of the coaching talent as well is very high level. So the matchups are great. The ladder's shifting every week, and there's some great rivalries out there as well.
And Mitch, I want to get your opinion on this because I remember in 2024 you came in. I think it was roughly 6 games. Then obviously go to the finals in Montreal. Last year you're here for the entire season. Now you kind of have this stint, national team duties. We'll see what happens after that. How do you kind of come into a group that looks a little bit different from last year? You know what the last 2 iterations have been. Kyle Julius is the constant. He has a playing style you're extremely familiar. How do you kind of learn on the fly? And you're probably the best person to do so. I mean, you've been playing pro, I think, since 2010 in Adelaide. Hopefully, I'm not misreferring to that, but 15 plus years pro. How do you kind of grow on the fly?
I try and tell people this all the time, no matter what you do or where you are or any your skill level or how you see yourself. But the curious mindset will always remain undefeated. Like if you just remain curious about learning, about progression, about acquiring new skills, about creating new friendships or moments in time, that's the most important thing. If you learn from every single moment that you go through, then you're going to have an experience to remember. Now, for me, I've learned through all my years of experience now that if you're not having fun and I'm not growing and learning and being curious, then I'm just wasting my time. There's just nothing beneficial for me or anyone around me if I'm not in that mindset. Now, Kyle's much the same. He's an enormous reason why I'm here, probably the only reason why I am here. But, I wouldn't play for an organization that's led by a bad coach. I just can't do that. He's the first guy that says, hey, you land at 4 o'clock. Hey, are we in the gym at 7? Yep, sure am. Like that's the kind of mindset I want in my sporting career. Now coming back in, it's pretty easy because I mean I don't have to have 48 dribbles every possession to be a threat. I don't know how many dribbles I average per possession, but it's pretty marginal. So I don't do anything too fancy. I set screens, I make simple reads, I shoot, I post, I roll, and I play in transition and I try and have good energy, and that fits into every team. Now, my roles some nights are larger, sometimes are a little bit smaller. We have Tyrese Samuel back tonight. We have a few different roster changes for this game, but my mentality has to remain the same. Who I am as a player has got me to this point, and that's the only constant that I need. Now, my teammates are aware of who I am. We come in, we train, we do some work, we have conversations. We clearly communicate what it is we all need from each other to be as successful as possible. And it's a numbers game. The analytics lead the way, and its proof is in the pudding. You have points per possession, effective field goal percentages. You need, good plus minuses. And if you keep focusing on like what is a good shot for me and what is a great shot for the team, that's where you need to think about. You go, is it a good shot for me? Yes. Is this a good shot for the team? Yes or no? And it's a bit 50-50. Okay, can I create a bigger, better, more efficient, effective opportunity for someone else? Or maybe that creation allows me to get an easier shot again. So, it's the same on both ends of the court. You play defense with a group, you have to understand terminology, you have to have clear communication, and then you just have effort. So basketball is very simple. I'm not a brain surgeon. I'm not cutting someone's head open and trying to piece together a frontal cortex or something crazy. This is a basketball game. We can all admit that if we win, lose, or draw, whether I eat someone's chips and shoot a shot afterwards, or whether I eat someone's popcorn in the middle of the game and give a fan interaction, it's not the end of the world. But if I enjoy the moments and I allow others to share in that, well, I'm doing my job as a pro, and I've just got to keep focused on what it is that we're trying to achieve. So it is hard sometimes, but the more you take a step back and say, hey, it's a basketball game that I've played 100,000 times with all of my friends in the stands and cheering me on. All your loved ones are there watching from afar or in person. Just enjoy it. Like, this is a moment in time. It's fleeting and it may never happen again. So while I'm here, ground yourself and just enjoy what you can.
And you've made it really clear about that competitive spirit, what you bring, your ability to kind of come into this group where it is. And I'm interested, you come in against Scarborough, you're 8 for 10, you get 29 points, 10 of 13 from the free throw line, and then the team hits the road. It's a tough road trip. Winnipeg could be a hostile environment. It's a 33-point loss. Obviously, you're watching that game, didn't travel with the team, you're going to be suiting up against Brampton. What's going through your head as you're watching that team play Winnipeg? You're probably like, damn, I want to get in there. But what was going through your mind watching that tape for Bandits versus the Sea Bears?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I was watching it from the couch thinking, God, I wish I was there, because I'm not allowing my teammates, one, to kind of get too distracted. Like, it's about us. And if I take from the team, which is me being distracted or communicating with fans or referees in a negative way, I'm just taking from the team, and I need to fill the team's cup up before I start to drink from it. So if I'm taking water out, then I'm not helping the team. If I'm putting water in, that's great. But if you can use that and then say, hey, we're in a good place, all right, we're all good, huddle together, we go out next possession. At least if you're going to lose a game like that, go out on your shield. Like, you know, you can't not have effort. You can't give up easy points. So that's for me where I think some of my leadership comes in. Like, if I'm going to lose, I'm willing to lose, but at least fight for the loss the right way. And I felt like we took a few possessions off. I feel like we were just a little bit lackadaisical with our effort. And I think our offense, or the lack thereof offense and execution, dictated some of the defensive possessions. So it's always hard to watch. You see a fan stand up and confront, our coach. Like, it's unacceptable behavior. And as a team leader and a captain, that's not going to happen. Like, you get between that and you make sure that shit's dead, because we're a team. We stick together. We always do, regardless, good, bad, or ugly. And, we just fight for one another. So a loss on the road is never great, but you have to try and do your best to mitigate any of those bad losses. 35, 38 points is a lot of points. 10 or 12, yeah, it's not a great night, but anything more than that just sucks as a player, and especially when you're not there. So it's hard to not put your hand up and say, hey, I'm going to go to Winnipeg for 3 days and then lose time with my loved ones here. But right now I have to have hindsight saying, you know what, I have to be healthy, ready. I can't be fatiguing going into national team. I have to be peaking at the right time. So it's a hard decision. The club was aware that I wasn't going to be participating in that game, but given the circumstances, the last kind of 72 hours that had happened, with flight issues and stuff back to Australia, I was like, you know what, I'll stay an extra day, I'll play one more game, and hopefully we come out on top tonight.
How are you guys addressing problems defensively? To put it nicely, they haven't. This is, you've only been here. Yeah, yeah. It's awful. It's awful. And so, and quite frankly, over the last few seasons, I thought defensively things looked, pretty damn good. So, you can't outrun every team every night. How are you guys addressing the problems defensively? And maybe there's been some conversation, in the room that you're able to allude to.
Yeah, for sure. There's always room for improvement in every area of our game. As I said, sometimes we get a little deflated because we're not executing offensively, and that translates to poor effort on defense. Now, for me, the biggest thing is first rotation. You got to understand whether we're beat or whether we're half beat or whether it's a full. We got to rotate. So the first thing is being able to identify as a team, one, who's on the court. Do we have two non-shooters? We understand Brampton have two guys who typically start in the starting five who aren't particularly high percentage shooters. We have a guy who's around 18, 19%, another guy who's about 16%. So we have an extra slide in our bag to be able to help on rotations. Now, I got to identify who's on the ball. You got Sean East, you've got great shooters spread around the floor. If he's playing again, that's creation, left hand, downhill. I have to know the scout. If I don't know the scout, I'm already in trouble. So understanding who's out there, understanding the scout is the first and most important thing. Secondly is first rotation, go. Just go, rotate, scramble, effort, energy, enthusiasm, the 3 E's we talk about. Then it's second rotation. If we can just get the first rotation, 50% of our issues are solved. Just like that. Um, I've watched probably 5 or 6 of the games they've played this season so far and been a part of one of them. So the effort is sometimes there. It needs to be there consistently. Then you need the rotations. It's just first effort rotation is the most important thing, I think, for us right now. And then we can say, okay, who was the second rotation? Can we get that a little bit earlier? Does the first guy just have to talk to the second guy to drop or be ready to take the first pass? So just the effort and the intensity of I'm help. Hey, Chris, you're the first X out. You got first pass. Go, go, go. That's it. It's simple basketball IQ. And I know in the game where I played, we had a bit better effort intensity, but we still lacked some execution in some of our rotations, some of our crackdowns, some of our second chance points. We gave up some very difficult shots as well. Like they made some very high level difficulty shots, but we can't always expect a team to shoot poorly. We have to make them shoot at a lesser level. So you're right, our defense sucks. We're 10th out of 10. So normally 10 out of 10 is really good, but in this case, it's the opposite end of the spectrum we want to be on. So if there's any positive at all, there is only room to improve from our defensive rating overall. And that's something we look to do tonight.
And you talk about that defensive rating and obviously the rotations, getting that first one down. We talked about the points allowed, but how does a team approach its mentality when it comes to rebounding the ball as well? Because that's another statistic that doesn't favor this squad. Last in the league in rebounds. Is that just kind of like an approach? Is that a box out thing? Is that everyone hitting the glass? No leak outs? What does that look like?
It's a toughness and a softness. It's having one team has a little more than the other. Height, size, weight, skill, all that shit comes into it. But really, it's an excuse. It's just, I want this more than you do, and I'm going to fight for it. And I'd rather us all foul out than give up 18-0 boards and have, a team roll up another 105 on us. So it's, it's hard because you obviously just need effort. You just need to make sure that you're, hitting first. That's the biggest thing, setting a tone and setting an example. But that comes from having our roster in, no Tyrese. We hadn't had Grant for some games. You've got one center in Dom. It's hard. We're a little undersized in that field. And even with myself, I'm not a very big four-man, especially when it comes to rebounding. But my effort is just, okay, I need to go and hit first and do my best to keep him away from a dangerous rebounding area. So, yeah, it's still a problem. It's something that we have to continue to fight for. And it just comes from getting huddles early and communicating, hey, we got to hit first. We have to set the tone. And I think tonight will be a great chance for us to prove that we're making changes in the right direction.
I'd like to get into your experience in Romania, but I got one more question just about the Bandit season. You've mentioned it's a younger group, a different group, different feel this year. Still 12 games left, but on a 2-game slide at the moment. I actually looked back. The worst loss since Winnipeg was in 2021, and they haven't had a 3-game slide since 2023. So it goes to show, the culture and just what Kyle Julius has built with this organization and how good teams are year over year. But what is it going to take for this group to ascend to the top this season?
Look, at the end of the day, mate, we're still a winning percentage. We're not 4-7. I think the guys are 7-4 at the moment. So, we lose 2 in a row, but it's not panic stations. It's just today is one day and we reset every day. Every 24 hours, we have an ability to reflect and then let it be and then just move on to the new 24-hour clock that we're setting for ourselves. So, look, I'm not too concerned about history or anything like that. I'm just worried about what's going on right now. It might be 4 years or 5 years and since we've lost 3 in a row. And guess what? There might be 5 in a row in 10 years' time when we say, hey, remember in 2026 we had this. No one cares about what happened 10 years ago. I'm just a guy that worries about what my team's doing today. We had a great shoot around. We had great energy. We had good discussions. We watched some film. We'll go and rest. I'll have my nap. Guys will come in. We'll have good energy again. And then we're going to be tough. And if we're not, we're going to try and fight our way into a position to win that game. And all we can do is our best. And I have an expectation, everyone else does, but I think the collectiveness of the group today was just, yeah, we've all got to buy in. We had that look to each other and we all knew that we were going to step up and take on a little bit more accountability self-wise rather than looking around like someone else is going to do it. It's more like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to set the example of picking up the ball, hitting cutters, boxing out a bit more, running the lanes to the corners, not taking any shortcuts. And when we need a sub, we put our hand up, next guy up mentality, and we just try and play basketball the right way and respect the game.
Any more about the Bandits season so far, Andrew, or can we move on to Romania and maybe the national team stuff?
No, let's talk international hoops. Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I mean, those who follow along on social media lived vicariously through your maybe party into the wee hours of the morning in Romania. It looked like a riot. What was that experience like for you, and how incredible was that that winning moment?
Yeah, look, first and foremost, it was a long 10 months, 63 games, 370 hours of nonstop flying, 115 days in a hotel, I think. It was a lot. But in saying that, when you have a group like we did, incredible guys, just camaraderie was 10 out of 10. You just can't ask for anything more. And guys that I talk to regularly still. So to share a championship, regardless of where you are in the world, is a very special moment. In the river there that runs through the city is only 100 yards from the arena. So we're all in our jerseys, jumping in the river. It's just a special moment. And we played an incredibly talented team in Oradea. They, every team that we played, Craiova, CEBL, like it was very high competition, very high level. The Oradea team was extremely talented, very tough, very physical, and we were very fortunate to win that series. But man, it's been a long time since I've won a championship in any of the leagues, and it's a special moment. It's fleeting. It's a moment you need to enjoy. So try to take a little live stream. I think I had it muted for 30 minutes out of 40. Which was fantastic.
Probably a safe thing to do.
Yeah. There's some things that probably we were glad they were muted, but look, honestly, it was just such a great vibe. I had an amazing time there, and very thankful to UBT Cluj. Very thankful to the organisation for having me in, and to all my teammates and fans that supported each other and one another, because it was just, it was outstanding.
And Mitch, I know you've tons of stints with the Boomers, the national team, the Australian squad. You got another one coming up. If I'm not mistaken, this is a top 5, sometimes top 3 squad in the world. And you're putting on the green and yellow, if those are the right color Pantones, I believe they are. And what's it like to represent the country once again? And each time you have one of these windows coming together with your mates, what's the sense of pride that you feel heading into this next national team window?
It's obviously a very special opportunity. It's one that people only dream of trying to attain, and for me, I've been very fortunate to be able to have quite a few moments now with the national team. Excuse me as I get out of move. Thank you, sir. But we just, you gotta, as I said, like, life is full of moments, and regardless of where you are in the world, like, if you get to pull on your national team's colors, it's just incredible. There's nothing that compares to it. There is literally the most butterflies and nervousness we feel in the world comes from when you pull on the green and gold. And honestly, for me, it's one of the most incredible moments that I'll ever get to share in. Being aligned on the free throw line with your mates, with your friends, that's what's special. You don't get to get these opportunities too often. So when you do, it's special. You think of the Anzacs that went to war and sacrificed their freedom for us to be able to play this game. I was able to go to Turkey last year and actually go to Gallipoli. I have parts of mum's family were in the war, and just to think of those moments, like I picked up bullets from the battlefields, and Anzac Cove, like I picked up sand and rocks and actually took it home to my mother because it was a very special thing for all of us. And just anytime you get to think back and think, you know what, I'm playing basketball in in a certain country or wherever you are, and you just think, man, I'm so lucky that I'm here right now. I could have been anywhere. I could have been born in any generation at any time, or I could have been on a battlefield. I could have been getting shot at from, up on top of a hill, and we're coming on the beach. Like, it's just, you just don't understand how lucky we are to actually play this game. And yeah, when you get to run alongside your mates, we have a very great word called mateship, and that for us is a big reason why we stand arm in arm. We're very proud to be there. So thankful every time I get to put my hand up and get accepted. So yeah, gonna go home and represent myself, my family, my loved ones, and my country with as much pride and effort as I can, and yeah, hopefully come out on top with a couple of victories against Guam and the Philippines.
Amazing. I think that's a great way to transition here. We do what's called target time, as you guys do on the floor, and because of the way that works on the floor with no clock, this is essentially the slowest rapid fire period of questions of all time. So cool. No clock. Are you cool for rapid fire and target time?
Let's do it.
All right, first one. And maybe this is just because we were talking about, the land down under. Melbourne or Vancouver?
Oof, man. I got to say Melbourne just because if you said Horsham, I would say Horsham. But maybe it's Vancouver, especially because of summer. It's, Horsham. But Horsham first, Vancouver second, Melbourne third.
All right, put on your Australian tourism hat, and everyone knows the big cities. People follow the NBL. What's the most slept-on destination, town or city in Australia that you'd recommend to a Canadian going down under for the first time?
I would say Noosa. It's NOOSA. That's where we spend a lot of time. We have friends and family and business and everything over there, so it's a beautiful beach area. It's one of the nicest kind of little small town cities in Australia, but it's just incredible. So anytime I get the chance to go there, it's very special.
When's the last time you were home, just out of curiosity?
It's about 2.5 years since I actually got real time there. I've gone for a 2-week stint about 18 months ago, but prior to that, it was, it's been a little bit.
Wow. Okay, favorite sneaker you've played in before? Or maybe you're playing in now?
I play right now the last 1.5 years they're called GT Hustle Academies. They're like a fly knit shoe. They're actually probably like $70 a shoe. I was buying them in Europe for about 50 euros, 60 euros. They remind me of the old Kobe 4s, but with a little bit of the old Hyper Dunks with the fly knit. So super comfy, super lightweight, and a lot of mobility. So I love them, but I'm looking for a new pair. I tried the Sabrinas on today. I tried the Jars, but I just can't leave my GT Hustle Academies right now.
When the time comes, potentially transitioning after basketball, if you're going to pursue another sport, whether it be a normal sport or an extreme sport, which you do a lot of, what's the next pro career if it's not basketball?
Oof. Man, it's a great question. I really got into jiu-jitsu the last 12 months. It's kind of reshaped how I see and how I perform and how I play. It teaches you self-defense. It teaches you positional awareness. Like strength conditioning is through the roof, and there's a level of confidence we have as men and as humans where you think, I'm pretty capable, like I could hold my own in this situation, but you can't. Like, I'm telling you, whoever you think you are, however big you think you are, anyone that's trained jiu-jitsu for 6 months consistently and you don't have training, you are a pancake. You are a little child on the ground, pancaked, and you can't do anything. And if you don't think that's true, I am more than happy to meet up and just have a play, because it'll be a play for me, but it's going to be, I did boxing for a long time, loved it, but I got into the sport of jiu-jitsu and I've just become enthralled by it, and it's changed my life. It's allowed me to have no ego, calm under pressure. Nothing bothers me, any rough play or whatever else. It's just, you have this confidence in the back of your head, like you're very capable to be safe in any situation. And for me, it's at the point where I'm like, man, I would like to do some competitions. I would like to go and try in other countries. And I've done that. So yeah, I've really loved it, really enjoyed it. And it's just the start of the journey. So yeah, excited to continue that moving forward.
A few more for you, and we appreciate the time. Latest tattoo and maybe favorite tattoo?
Well, look, my partner Sarah is a tattoo artist. If you look up Sarah Sophia Art, you'll see the work she does. We've been planning on her doing a few tattoos on me. There's some stuff on my daughter that I would like to get when she was in Romania. I got tattooed in the Philippines when I was there for the national team. I had a couple of days off. I was on the beach in Boracay, and I had a bunch of tattoos on my toes and my feet, and they all basically rubbed off. So I shouldn't have gone in the ocean straight away. I don't know if it was me or if it was them or if it was a bit of everything, but I've got some half-done toes that say "G'day, mate," and some pictures. But yeah, it was a bit of a piss take. It was a little bit funny. But yeah, they definitely need to be redone, and there'll be a few more additions pretty soon.
I'm interested. You're someone who cares a lot about their body, your mental state, great conditioning. Advice to people watching this: what's the best pregame meal or maybe dietary plan if you want to be flying on the court and have a good one?
I think understanding how the body operates and works, it takes 4 hours to food to digest in the body, and 80% of the energy that you actually intake is actually used to digest food. So you need to make sure 2 days before, you need to be carb loading to a certain degree, fruits, vegetables, proteins, like a mix, but you need to know what your body needs and what it doesn't. I can't eat. I love greens, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, broccoli, but those actually make me bloated, and they actually don't have a good effect on my body. So not all vegetables suit me. I have to make sure that I hydrate and use electrolytes and salts and try and be as clean, as organic as possible. But that's what I do. Now, for someone else, you may not care drinking out of plastic or, having sugars at the wrong times, but carb loading is important 2 days out. Day of the game, 4 hours before, you should be eating, and then you should be a little hungry going into the game. An hour before, it might be some light fruits, maybe even half a banana, some mixed berries, and then go and play. And then just making sure that you're curious. As I said at the start, you've got to be curious about what works for you, not what is recommended to you. I can recommend everyone go and jump out of a plane and fall to the earth, but not everyone's going to feel comfortable doing that, and that's okay. But I just need to make sure that I know what I'm doing suits me and works for me. So I got a pretty good understanding now. I like to think that I've got a lot of energy when I get out there. I am 34, I am getting older, but I feel better than I did when I was 22, 23, 24, 25, and so on. So yeah, I figured out a little bit what works for me. I just hope others are curious enough to do the same for them.
Last one for me. You just talked about falling out of airplanes. Where is the best place? Where was your favorite place to do that, to skydive?
Probably Lake Elsinore in Los Angeles, or even nearby. There was a place called Paris, and it's a skydiving place in LA. But they do like hot air balloons. They do like big warplanes where the tail drops out the back, and we had a slip and slide in there, and it was 30 people in a plane. They dropped the tail out, and there was literally a slip and slide, and there was about 7 of us that all linked up, kind of seated behind each other and held on, and it's called like a magic dragon, and we all fell out backwards, and then we all were like connected and flying through the air like a dragon. So it's an old video that I have on my Instagram, but it's a good one. It was a good time. So that's probably my favorite one.
No other questions for me, Mitch. That's awesome. Really appreciate the time today.
No worries. Thanks, Andrew. Appreciate it, mate.
Okay, we'll let you get a pregame nap in, and good luck tonight against Brampton. Thanks, man. We appreciate your time, and all the best. Okay.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. See you soon.